Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is the sequel to the very popular first Guardians of the Galaxy. In this movie, the Guardians are back and they have to band together to save the galaxy once again. Since this is a sequel, you have to ask the question if it's as good as the first one. I would say no. I mean, I still had a good time with this movie. I had a lot of fun, but overall, I liked the first one better than this one. I did have a couple problems with the first one, with the dialogue and the villain. In this film, they did fix a couple of those problems, but they introduced a couple of new ones. One of the things I really liked about the first film that carries into this one is the cast of characters and how well they work together. I like the dynamic between them and how they play off each other and how well they just meld together really well. Baby Groot's an easy go-to favorite in this film. He's just so darn cute and funny, and the whole opening credit sequence with him was a great way to open the film. It's very Deadpool-esque. But there wasn't as much of him as I thought there was going to be, and that might be a budget thing because he's a completely CG character. But thumbs up to James Gunn for making him just a baby Groot and keeping him baby, because that was a smart move on his part because it was an easy in for the movie. Everyone had a pretty good performance like they did in the first one. Nobody seems to be phoning it in, especially Michael Rook as Yondu. Yondu overall has to do more in this film, and he has a bigger impact on it as well. You get to learn more about his past and what he was doing with Quill, and rather than taking him straight to his father. And that's the way it is for almost all the characters, save for Drax, who's kind of just there cracking jokes. But you learn a little bit more about each character and develop their story and their backgrounds a bit more, and develop the relationships they have with each other. And I like that they're doing that because this is the second of what I'm assuming is going to be a trilogy, and getting to know these characters more and developing their relationships with each other kind of builds more weight for the third film. One of the problems I had with the first Guardians of the Galaxy was the dialogue felt a little superficial to me, like everyone was just telling me what they thought and felt rather than showing me. They seemed to fix it in this one. The dialogue seemed to be a little bit more genuine, a little bit more real. I know it's a little bit of a nitpicky thing, but that's some of the things I paid attention, and I felt like the dialogue was way better in this one than was in the first film. Unfortunately, like I said before, this movie isn't as good as the first one. That has a lot to do with the first half of the movie. For the first hour, the pacing is really clunky, and there's no real clear narrative, and things just sort of happen. We have like Peter, Drax, and Gamora off doing one thing, while Groot and Rocket are off doing another. There's some gold people that show up every once in a while and have no real impact on the film, except for being cannon fodder for our heroes to blow up. I definitely like the second half of this movie more because that's when things start to ramp up and come to a heading, and things start to tighten up a bit, and everybody seems to be going after one thing rather than doing different things throughout the movie. And unfortunately, it took way too long to get to that point, and for the first half of the film, just sort of sitting there going like, all right, come on, let's get going. All right, come on, let's just get going. Again, I like how they're developing all these characters and their stories and how they relate with one another to build towards that third film. But unfortunately, they couldn't find a way to tell all these stories without hindering the flow of the film. And that's kind of a shame because of a movie like Civil War with a way bigger cast of characters than this film, they were able to find that balance and tell all their stories without detracting from the main narrative. And it's no surprise that this movie had a lot of humor in it. It's kind of a staple of a Marvel film to have humor, but this is kind of bordering on having too much. There's scenes where it's kind of dedicated to just selling a joke, and a lot of the jokes hit, but there were a couple of times where it's kind of like dragging on a bit, and I was kind of wishing they sort of held back a bit more because a lot of the serious scenes had at least one joke in it, and I was wishing they would sort of like held back and giving more of the emotion rather than trying to sell me a joke. And the last thing I'll talk about is the soundtrack. It wasn't used quite as well as it was in the first one. And the first film was kind of its own character, and it was so present, and it was one of the things I really remembered about the first one. But in this one, it wasn't used in that way, and it wasn't as impactful as it was. I know it's kind of dumb to complain about the soundtrack wasn't used good, and that's not the purpose of the movie, but it's kind of a shame for me, but you know, whatever. So overall, this wasn't as good as the first Guardians of the Galaxy. It has some pacing and narrative issues and focused a little too much on the laughs, but I still had a good time with it. I liked the directions they're taking the characters, and though I thought there was a little bit too much humor, I did laugh at a lot of the jokes. So I'm giving Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 3 out of 5 stars. The summer movie season is officially upon us, and what better time to get a membership to MoviePass. With MoviePass, you can see a movie every 24 hours for a flat monthly fee. Accepted over 93% of theaters nationwide, MoviePass now offers plans starting at $14 a month. So sign up today by following the link in the description. So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, have you seen it and what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share this video, and consider following me on social media. If you're new to the channel, help me reach 1,000 subscribers by giving that subscribe button a click. As always, thank you for watching, and if you like this, you can click right here and see more videos. by Andrew.